And please welcome Jenny and Logan to the show. And I do want to tell everyone that Andy is doing just fine, but he has to work right now, so he couldn't be here.
Yeah, he could not be here today.
What a remarkable story. What in the world goes through your mind when you're going down in a plane over water like that?
You know, I didn't really realize we were crashing until we were upside down under the water. I came to under the water and realized that we had crashed and tried to undo my seatbelt, and I couldn't get it undone. So I took Logan and got him free and pushed him to the sunlight. You could see the sunlight coming through the water. And I pushed him up, and I saw my husband's swimsuit in his hand, so I knew that he had Logan at that point. And then after that, I blacked out again. The pilot did come down and rescue me after he got my husband up, and Logan was up. And by the time they brought us up, we were both unconscious and not doing very well.
Now, I do have to just tell everyone, Andy, your husband, swallowed a lot of water, and he ended up with a very severe pulmonary infection, did he not?
Yes, about 2 weeks after the accident, he started developing a lot of pain in his left side, and he was having night sweats, and so we took him to the emergency room, and he had the lung infection, and he was in the hospital for 11 days.
And the teaching point here is that you can avoid the initial catastrophe, but in Andy's case, aspiration pneumonia, when you actually inhale, particularly a lot of salt water, which can be an irritant, you can develop an aspiration pneumonia. You can develop severe big abscess in your lungs because, again, your lungs are used to air, not salt water in it. And so if you ever are a near drowning victim, whether it's through a plane crash or some other mechanism, and later on you develop what he had, night sweats, fevers, cough, difficulty breathing, you need to go get an x-ray because right after a crash, if he had got the x-ray, it wouldn't necessarily have shown anything. These things develop in the ensuing days after a near drowning incident. And it's why you should be prepared and never give up. And you're living proof that if you don't give up, you can fight through these emergent situations. So what do you do during an emergency? If it is a water emergency, much like they experience, make sure you get upwind of the aircraft. You want to stay in the vicinity of the aircraft because that's where you went down. If there's going to be people coming to find you, they're going to know hopefully where the aircraft went down. Stay clear of the fuel or oil, very easy for it to light on fire. And look for those flotation devices. Strap them together. Your idea is to make whatever rescue rafts are available as big as possible so you're visible to whoever might be flying over for a rescue, and get the wounded people, if they are, up in the rafts, and so you can keep a close eye on them. And then these are survival tips for everyone. No matter where you may find yourself, the number one thing you need to do after something like this occurs is figure out a water source. You really can't go much more than at most a week without water. Next would be food, but you can live up to 30 to 40 days without food if you're otherwise healthy. Third on the list is getting shelter, some sort of shelter from the sun and the elements. As much as you can reduce your activity, that decreases your metabolic requirements. And then as far as taking care of injuries, if someone is severely injured, for instance, bleeding to death, you need to focus on that first and foremost. But at some point in that, depending upon how injured they are, you deal with the injuries, and then you have to attract attention. Bright colored clothes, flares, in some cases fires work. Think about this before it occurs. It just may save your life or the life of your loved ones, as it did in your case.
It did.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Logan.